Hello students, today we will see the next lecture. In the previous lecture, we have seen introduction to the thermal analysis, historical development, then various terminologies involved in the thermal analysis, and the next one is the apparatus. In that apparatus, we have seen first part is a balance. Now in this lecture, we will see the furnace, then programmer, samples, temperature calibration and atmosphere. So first one is the furnace. So generally the furnaces which are used, which are wound electrical resistance heaters, nowadays the infrared and micro heaters are also being suggested. So the furnace and balance arrangement described as in figure. So for the most important feature with respect to the furnace are as follows. The first one, the furnace should have zone of uniform temperature, which is obviously longer than the sample and sample holder. So this is because of whenever we have placed the sample experiences the uniform temperature, and hence the particular responses to the particular temperature by means of a thermocouple is uniform. For that purpose, the particular furnace should have a zone of uniform temperature, which is achieved by the longer length of furnace with respect to the sample holder. Then the second one, the heat from the furnace must not affect the balance mechanism. So generally what happens, balance is made up of very sensitive material. Generally for the balance, platinum metal, platinum wire is generally used, which is having hair like thickness. So there is a small vibrations or a small change in the atmosphere will cause the imbalance of the particular mechanism of the balance. So for that purpose we should have to use buffers between the sample and the particular balance. So the buffers are nothing but the devices which are resist the flow of heat. Then the next one is the furnace should be capable of rapid response and range of heating and cooling rates. So generally what happens if you are considering the analysis of the any kind of sample. So for that purpose we will have some kind of temperature programming, and as we know that whenever we have considering the temperature programming, we should consider about the time required for the analysis. Suppose if you are consider we have to heat the sample by 10 degree Kelvin per minute. At that time what happen, we require 1.5 hour for heating and 1.5 hour for cooling. So for the analysis of one sample we need 3 hours for the analysis. So for that purpose the furnace should be capable of response which is proper. Means what we the furnace should not have larger time to heat or larger time to cool. So it should have a proper heating and cooling rates. Then the next one, the furnace lining should be inert at all temperature used. Okay, so for that purpose a tube of ceramics such as alumina or mullite, it is a aluminosilicate material. It is also called as a porcelainite material, which is inert material generally used, or for lower temperature silica glass may also be used. So this is about the furnace. Then next one is the programmer. So the furnace temperature is measured by thermocouple, generally platinum 13% rhodium, which is the most suitable material used up to 1600 degrees Celsius, which is chemically inert but has a fairly low output of about 8 to 12 microvolt per Kelvin. That's why another thermocouple is often used, which is of chromyl alumyl, which is suitable for 1100 degrees Celsius and has a larger response. That chromyl alumyl, chromyl is made up of nickel and chromium, having 90% of nickel and 10% of chromium, while the alumyl, which is made up of the nickel, aluminum, manganese and silicon, having largest proportion of nickel, which is of 95%, 2% of aluminum, 2% of manganese and 1% of silicon. So this material is suitable for the larger response, about 40 microvolt per Kelvin, but it is easily oxidized. So the signal from the furnace thermocouple is transmitted to the programmer and the temperature it represented is compared with that of the required program set by the operator. If the temperature is too low, the system must respond by supplying more power to the furnace, and if too high, by reducing the power. The response times of the controller and of the furnace govern the thermal lag of the instrument and hence range of heating rate that is achievable. A slow response programmer controlling a very large furnace may only allow heating rate below 10 Kelvin per minute, whereas small mass furnace and a fast controller will allow rate up to 100 Kelvin per minute. So this is all about the programmer. Then next one is the sample. So generally thermogrammetry is most frequently carried out for solids. The sample should be obtained in an approved way so that it provides a meaningful analysis. This is easy with pure homogeneous compound but very difficult with large samples which may differ from one region to another. So for the sampling, there are various kinds of procedures are employed, such as cunnings and quarterings of finely ground samples may give better reproducibility. So in the cunning and quartering means what? We have to take a sample, which make a cake of the sample, just like a cake, and make the quarter of the sample. Then two opposite quarter we have to discard. Okay, two opposite quarters of the particular sample are discarded, and two two quarters which will kept and used as a sample. So in this way we have to sort out the sampling, or we have to minimize the sample. Okay, and hence we have to maintain the homogeneity of the sample. One region of the sample may be more porous or more easily oxidized or have a higher moisture content than the bulk of the sample. Crystalline samples may behave differently from the fine powders, especially where surface reactions are involved. It is also very often difficult to produce a fine powder from samples such as a thermoplastic. Samples should be ideally small, powdered and spread evenly in the crucible. Typical thermogrammetric run might be done under the following conditions. First one, sample. If you are considering, for example, considering the example of calcium oxalate monohydrate, then for that purpose we will use the platinum pan. The rate of heating, that is temperature, it is of 10 Kelvin per minute. Then we have maintained here nitrogen atmosphere of 20 cubic centimeter per minute flow, and the mass of the sample, it is 10.5 mg. So this is the ideal condition. This is ideal procedure or ideal condition for the analysis of calcium oxalate monohydrate. Then the next one is the temperature calibration. So in order that the balance shall operate with a little interferences or no interferences as possible. The sample temperature is oftenly measured by the thermocouple near to it, but not in contact with the sample. The sample temperature thermocouples, generally of the same type, are used for the furnace, but frequently rather smaller and more delicate. The temperature measured by the thermocouple, which is not in contact with the sample, must be subject to the thermal lag, which could be several degrees. Unless the experiment is carried out isothermally on the very small sample, this lag will vary with temperature and with the reactions proceeding. It is very important to calibrate the thermobalance in conditions which reproduce those which will be used in the actual experiment, and to be able to reproduce conditions on variety of instruments. A survey carried out by ICTAC of the most appropriate method of temperature calibration of thermobalances and concluded that a sharp reproducible physical change would give the best result. The materials selected are metals and alloys which are ferromagnetic at low temperature, but which loses their ferromagnetism at well-defined Curie point. So generally what do you mean by Curie point? So the Curie point, it is the temperature at which certain magnetic material undergoes sharp change in their magnetic properties. It is called as a Curie point, or it is also called as a Curie temperature. So this is the plot for temperature calibration, which we have been plotted against the mass against the temperature. Here we have used various kinds of sample which are having magnetic nature. So the magnetic material is placed in the sample holder and the magnet placed below the sample. The magnetic force on the sample will cause apparent increase in the mass. In the thermogrammetric run, if nitrogen is purged or nitrogen flow is there, the force will disappear fairly abruptly at Curie point, and the change in the particular mass abruptly is occurred, okay, and that temperature or that point is called as a Curie point. So generally the mid temperature or peak of the DTG curve is now used as a fixed point for calibration using in the NIST material, which is permanorm 3, then nickel, then metal, then permanorm 5 and trafeperm, having a Curie temperature range given in the table. Then the next one is the atmosphere. Now as we know that for the analysis of the sample we need some kind of surrounding atmosphere. So the sample, the surrounding atmosphere should be inert or reactive atmosphere, and to control the evaluation of gases from the sample generally means that thermogrammetry is conducted in the flowing gas system. So too high a flow rate can disturb the balance mechanism, while too low flow rate will not remove the product gases or supply reactant gases. For that purpose, the optimum flow is used for removing such gases or maintaining the thermal balance. The flow of gases can contribute to the transfer of heat and assist the transfer of products to any external gas analysis system. Consider a reaction that produces a gas. For example, a solid A which gives rise to the solid B and gas C. For example, if you consider the calcium carbonate which gives rise to the calcium oxide and CO2 is liberated. We can conduct an experiment in the flowing inert atmosphere such as nitrogen, where carbon dioxide will be swept away as soon as it is formed, or in an atmosphere of carbon dioxide which will shift the position of equilibrium according to Le Chatelier principle, Kp is equals to Pco at equilibrium. Since the reaction is endothermic, Kp is increases as the temperature increases according to the Van 't Hoff equation, that is ln of Kp is equals to minus delta H0. upon RT plus constant. So the equilibrium pressure of CO2 becomes greater. At the low partial pressure of CO2, decomposition will take place at lower temperature than when the partial pressure is high. So this is all about the apparatus with respect to thermal analyzer, or we can say the thermobalance. Okay, so this is all about the instrumentation. Thank you.